and good afternoon, dear friends. As informed you by Dr. Amandeep Kaur, this course is on online learning and evaluation. And let me start my session with one, broad objective. Uh, that broad objective of any educational endeavor is to promote learning pertaining to knowledge, skills, and attitudes amongst learner. And friends, you all know that to achieve this objective, teachers have been employing mainly the lecture mode of imparting instruction. As you know, every day thousands of teachers deliver the exact same lesson in class to millions of students, and every night millions of students sit over the exact same homework trying to figure out how to solve it. That is, traditionally, students, listen to class lecture and take test in the class and uh, work on problem sets at home. But when the class size is large, the teacher cannot give individual attention to each and every student sitting in the classroom. As you know, that during lecture mode, we ask one or two questions, and that too, those one or two questions are answered by one or two students. So, if any student has any problem, the teacher cannot give any individual attention to the student. Even the classroom climate is non-interactive, non-participatory. As students sit as passive listeners, they listen to simply the teacher's talk, and because the talk is simply chalk and talk, and many a times the teachers fail to gain attention of students, and they fail to integrate any media and evaluate learners, all the learners, and provide feedback. In addition, there are wide individual differences amongst learners. No two individuals are alike. Some learners learn better when some visuals are integrated, while others perform better when they are involved in practice tasks followed by feedback. Some learners learn fast and can match the rate at which the teacher is delivering instruction, while others prefer to learn at their own pace and convenience. And friends, this mode has been criticized over a number of platforms because the teacher is mainly pouring the information by acting as a guide on the by acting as a sage on the stage. He simply pours the information into the minds of the students. Now, if you take 1 minute and see, uh, you can identify a frustration that you have in your teaching, or say your this one. So you can write on a piece of paper, and you can finish this sentence: if I could fix one thing in my classes, it would be. Okay. Now, I think uh, you will agree with me that there are many frustrations by having only a lecture mode of imparting instruction in the classroom. And you will notice that those issues or problems can be categorized into four different categories. One is in regard to student motivation, okay, because all of us in a classroom ask one typical question: what can we do to motivate students to learn. Secondly, every teacher has unique instructional capabilities, but because of paucity of time, because he is to simply complete the content in the classroom, he hardly can utilize his other capabilities in the classroom. Thirdly, the teacher fails to provide opportunity for continuing discussion, for peer learning. Why? Because the teacher is engaged only in pouring the information. And fourthly, the teacher wants to do much more than mere chalk and talk and do frequent assessment. Again, this is not possible in a classroom. So let me share all these four issues in detail. When it comes to student motivation, as a teacher, I need to capture the interest of my students, but I fail to capture the interest because sometimes I provide only the abstract information. I fail to integrate integrate the media. I fail to link the content with examples from daily life because I hardly get any time. Secondly, I want my students to have a greater sense of control over their learning. Now, you see, the traditional classroom teaching is quite rigid, and there are wide individual differences, I have already said. And thirdly, my students are not prepared for class discussion. Why? Because they have not kept up with the textbook reading. Now, when it comes to the teacher's unique instructional capabilities, as a teacher, I need to be able to demonstrate the concepts, the principles, the processes with examples, with the with the certain experimentation. My students extra need access to extra resources to update or expand on what the text offers. Again, I'm not providing them any links which are available on YouTube or any web resources in a lecture. I would like my students to track their progress in the course, in the even in the lecture, because teacher asks one or two questions and that too are answered by one or two students. So all the students they fail to track their progress, and this is possible only if we have given them some learning material which contains inbuilt questions followed by feedback. My students need to be able to assess their understanding of the content. Again, this is not possible by all the students. I would like to provide students with more immediate feedback of their activity or for their work. And my students need to spend more time on task practicing a skill because I don't have enough time in the classroom. I need to finish my content. I hardly provide any opportunity to, to the students to practice a skill. Now, in regard to support for new instructional approaches, I would like to reduce the amount of time spent in class on lecturing without sacrificing the coverage of the content. It is not possible in a traditional lecture. My students need opportunities for continuing discussion for peer learning. Now, in a traditional mode, No opportunity is provided to the student for discussion among themselves. I would like to help my students focus more on understanding and application rather than on remembering part only, because in a lecture we focus only on the remembering part. We are not giving any opportunity to apply whatever they have learned in a new situation to solve the problem. Another is I would like to give my students a greater sense of responsibility for their learning. Again, spoon feeding is there. We are not making them independent learner. We are not providing any opportunity to discuss, or we are not giving any access to, you see, web resources, YouTube videos, etc. Now, in regard to increased teacher productivity, as a teacher, I would like to do more activity based learning in the classroom. But I have a lot of content, lot of material I need to cover, and I would like my students to have more frequent grade updates. Again, it is possible only if we provide them self instructional by following a very, you can say, unique instructional strategy. And uh, we want the faculty to move from a teaching model to a learning model, which is not possible in a lecture mode. Now the question is, how do you do that in your class? How do you as a teacher emphasizes teaching, move from the sage on the stage? Because in a traditional lecture mode, teacher acts as a sage. Sage is a person who has got wisdom. He knows all the things. He stands in front of the class and pours the information into the minds of student. But we want that the teacher should act as a guide on the side of the learners. And you know that the net generation, the how we can reach, because the population is, you see, mainly net savvy. So uh, uh, and they are highly devised. Many devices, have become popular across generations, with a majority now owning cell phones, laptops, desktop computers. And you know that we are living in a time when things are moving fast. The rules of the game are changing, the science is changing, technology is changing, the world of work has also changed. But our students are, for the most part, still constrained by traditional transmission model of teaching. As I said, today's youth grew up with internet access, YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, MySpace, and a host of other digital resources. They can typically be found doing their homework while texting their friends, iming on Facebook, and listening to music all at the same time. They are highly networked, they are highly interactive. They don't want to, work alone. They are highly social. So, the use of the traditional approach, which focuses on the teacher as the center of knowledge, is irrelevant in today's digital age. As a solution, traditional classroom activity, that is the lecture content, can be moved to the Web 2.0 technology, and students can study everywhere outside the classroom. Uh, I'll provide you one survey which was conducted by Kaiser Family Foundation in 2005, and this survey would definitely give a strong boost to involve to employ new teaching approach which can make the students responsible for their own learning, which can uh, make the teacher act as a guide on the side of the student. So you see, the youth, particularly between 8 and 18-year old age group, they spend 6 hours with media per day, out of which 26% they use more than two media simultaneously. 3 hours 51 minutes on TV video per day, 1 hour on music, 1 hour using computer, 49 minutes playing video games, 43 minutes of recreational reading. Now, in such a situation, can you think that the students would sit as passive listeners in the classroom? The students, to them, computers are not technology. They are carrying out multitask. Multitasking can mean many things, including doing two or more things at the same time. For example, listening to music while studying, switching back and forth between tasks. For example, reading a book and checking social media between pages, or doing a number of tasks quickly one after the other. For example, answering a practice question or reading another subject's instruction or then studying one page of notes. So, multitasking, you see, at this, we have to admit that multitasking while doing homework or in class can interfere with a student's ability to learn and absorb information. So, reality is more and more a meaningless term because most of their waking time is spent in virtual world. And let us have a look at what is the result of successful learning. What are the components that lead to successful learning? Firstly, active. The student has to be active. Okay, he has to he cannot sit as a passive learner in a classroom. Successful learning is the result of constructive learning. He needs to know why he is learning, what are the applications of particular content in the world of work. They can learn better when they can engage, when they are engaged in the classroom, when they are interactive. And successful learning is the result of, you see, social aspect of learning. Now, if you look at the learning pyramid, if you are reading on your own, you can comprehend 10% only if you read yourself. And if you are hearing to the teacher, you are not listening. There is a difference between hearing and listening. When you are simply hearing, listening is with understanding, and this is possible only if the teacher connects the content with examples from their daily life or examples from the word of work. So only 20% of what you hear can be comprehended, can be understood by the students. And 30% when the teacher integrates media, he shows a movie, he shows some visuals, 30%. Now 50% of what we both hear and see, that is watching a demonstration. Suppose uh, you want to teach them the process of some transformer, say, can you take your students to the transformer location, or can that be brought in the classroom? And you see, the most important is that if they are involved, they are participating, only then they will be able to comprehend 70% and 90% of what we both say and do. Now, to address these needs, we try to open up class time for active learning strategies. Question is, how do I do and still provide the same coverage of the content? The answer is to flip the classroom using classroom flip model. Okay, that will help the teacher to achieve the broader objective. Now, flipped classroom is turning the problem of traditional classroom upside down. As I told you, traditionally students listen to lecture and take tests in class, read textbook, or work on problem sets at home. Now in flipped teaching, this is this is reversed. Students first study the topic by themselves using self-learning material or computer assisted instruction or video lesson on YouTube at home, and then apply the knowledge by solving problems and doing practical work in the classroom. So what is typically presented in the class? That is the lecture, the content, the background knowledge, or real life experiences by a live teacher. Students receive the same at home via reading material. It may be self-learning material, computer assisted instructional material, or YouTube video, or the teacher has recorded a video himself by using his own mobile camera, that can be provided to the students in advance. What the teacher can do, the material, the lecture content, he can send to the students in their WhatsApp group, or the same can be uploaded on the website of the institution. Student can download at home, they can study at home, and in case they have got some doubt, now they are coming next day to the classroom, they can seek clarification from the teacher. The teacher can supplement with more examples, and then the homework or problem solving can be carried out in the classroom. So it is the reverse of traditional classroom teaching. Now you see, in a traditional lecture, the teacher is delivering lecture and student is doing homework at home himself. Now in a flipped classroom, the lecture material is with all the students, and when they come to the classroom, they come with preparation, they come prepared, and they participate in the classroom activity. Teacher can supplement. So many good institutions have started following flipped classroom, and they have reported many benefits. Firstly, flipped classroom allows all students to learn at their own pace, as the lecture content can be read again and again, or video can be watched again and again. Now, this is not possible in a traditional lecture. Sometimes the teacher, you see, speaks at a very high rate. And I told you there are wide individual differences. The student who is slow cannot cope with the speed at which the teacher is delivering. Now, here, the lecture content, the student can read again and again, or video he can watch again and again. Secondly, flipped classroom is more efficient. As I said, as the students enter the classroom prepared to contribute. Flipped classroom enriches the lesson as more time now can be spent on group work projects in the classroom. And doing homework in class allows students to help each other. So, this would benefit both the average and below average learners. So, a flipped classroom is an instructional strategy, and I would say it is a type of blended learning. Why blended learning? Because some material is uploaded on the website, some video link of YouTube video link is given to them. They can study at home, they can study online. Now, in a classroom, they can ask for clarification. Teacher can give more examples, and they are involved in problem solving in the classroom. So, as I said, it is an instructional strategy, a type of blended learning which focuses on student engagement, active learning, giving the teacher a better opportunity to deal with different levels of students. So, flipped classroom has been highlighted as an emerging technology. It is a student centered approach to learning where the students are more active than the teacher in the classroom activity. Now, in this case, the teacher will act as a facilitator, he will act as a guide on this side, because students require certain, you see, clarification, they require guidance. Lecture content they can cover themselves. So, what is typically given as homework is done in class with the assistance of the teacher. Let me substantiate the importance of flipped classroom by relating the implications of pedagogical theories. Allen, an educationist, he looked at various pedagogical theories and examined their applications to the flipped classroom. These theorists include Vygotsky, Bloom, Keller, and Skinner. And Allen has given a concise introduction to each theorist fundamentals and applied it to the flipped classroom. Firstly, he studied a Russian developmental psychologist, Lev Vygotsky, and he developed, he proposed a theory of the development of higher cognitive functions in students that saw reasoning as emerging through practical activity. So his theories emphasize that students can reach a higher level of understanding, that is up to creating. You see, cognitive domain has got 6 levels. At the lowest level is remembering, then understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. He said that students can reach higher level of understanding through group work. And it is a very important component of flipped classroom. You see, lectures emphasize conformity and give lot of emphasis on memorization, whereas group work emphasizes problem solving and knowledge application. Bloom, an American psychologist who contributed to the theory of mastery learning model. According to this theory, students must master prerequisite material before moving on to learn subsequent information. The material you have given, they are studying at home, they can work at their own pace, and they are also getting regular formative assessments. You see, if you have developed uh, learning material which is equipped with inbuilt practice task question followed by feedback, the students are answering the questions. I'll show you one specimen of a PDF, that is a self learning material in the PDF format, as well as in the form of computer assisted instruction. Another educationist, Keller, he developed the personal system of instruction, PSI, and this has laid the basis for mastery learning. So he developed the Keller plan, and according to this plan, the material is broken down into small chunks, discrete units, and the students must demonstrate mastery of the content before moving on to the next unit or the chunk. These are the key components of flipped classroom. Skinner, who developed theories of reinforcement and radical behaviorism. So, reinforcement was applied to sequential learning, as the students had to master a concept before advancing to the next one with immediate feedback rather than typically delayed feedback. So, this is applicable to flipped classroom, as in class activities allow for a chance at immediate assessment of applied knowledge. So, a flipped classroom is one that inverts the typical cycle of content acquisition and application, so that students gain the necessary knowledge through e-content, सेल्फ लर्निंग मटेरियल, कंप्यूटर असिस्टेड इंस्ट्रक्शन, मैं इन दोनों के स्पेसिमेन आपको बताऊंगा, और वीडियो में भी from the YouTube, or you can develop your own video, and the self learning material and videos can be provided to the students in advance. That is, before they come to the class, they will study at home, and now in the classroom, the teacher will guide the student to actively and interactively clarify and apply that knowledge during class. So, a flipped classroom intentionally shifts instruction to a learner centered model in which time in classroom is used to explore topic, while students are initially introduced to new topic outside of the classroom. So, content delivery may be in the form of video lesson, not more than 12 minutes. This can be prepared by the teacher or the third party. Then online collaborative discussion, digital research, text reading, Google form questions, etc. Now, what these educationists have said about flipped classroom. Bergman and Sams, They say it is that which is traditionally done in class is now done at home, and that which is traditionally done as homework is now completed in class. I think the meaning of flipped classroom, the process of flipped classroom is quite clear from Bergman and Sam's definition. And let me tell you, many countries, many teachers in various countries have started employing flipped classroom. Material they have developed, they need not, they can, you see, update the material every year, but the lecture they are not required to deliver in the classroom. So flipping the classroom involves pushing lecture material outside the classroom as a form of homework or other pre-class preparation, giving more time in class for interaction or for engaging exercises. Set of pedagogical approaches that move most information transmission teaching out of classroom. You might have listened to many students' problem. They say, "Why we attend to your class, sir? It is only for the attendance purpose only, because whatever you are dictating to us, it is available in a particular book. There is nothing new in your lecture. So dictation part you have not to do. You have to give them the learning material. Now you see there is a great role on the part of the teacher. He has to be very proficient knowledge. If he is proficient in his subject, only he can operate in this model. So move most information transmitted teaching out of class, use class time for learning activities that are active. Students will participate actively, they will carry out the class work, homework in a small group, and require students to complete pre or post class activities to fully benefit from in class work. Now you look both these models. Now before class, in a traditional mode, students they are assigned something to read. Now here in the flip mode, students are guided through learning module that includes inbuilt questions followed by feedback. Now in a traditional classroom, during lecture, students they try to follow, teacher tries to get through all the material. Now here during the class, student practice performing the skill they are expected to learn, and teacher guides the process with feedback. Now after the class is over, students they attempt homework in a traditional model, and teacher grades past work. Now in a flipped mode, students continue applying their knowledge skills because you have given them some other problem solving exercises or projects. Now there are office hours. Okay, now in a lecture you say, if you have any doubt you can come to my chamber after the class, and many a time the teacher is not available in his chamber, and many a times he repeats what was in that lecture. Now here the students are equipped to seek help where they know they need it, and teacher continues guiding students toward deeper understanding by giving them an access to extra material, web resources, or other additional material. So it is a form of blended learning. Students learn new content through reading material, or they can watch a video, usually at home. And what used to be homework is now done in the class with teacher offering more personalized guidance. Now in the literature, you will find different nomenclatures. to this approach, it may be backward classroom, reverse instruction, flipping the classroom, or reverse teaching. So traditional pattern is to assign students to read textbooks and work on problem sets outside institute while listening to lecture and taking tests in class. And this is reverse in flipped classroom. Now we can relate the process of flipped classroom with Bloom's taxonomy. You have provided them lecture content or video. They are required to study the material at home, that is before class. They are studying at home. They may be at understanding level. Now when they come to the classroom, the teacher provides them practice task question whereby they can apply the knowledge, they can analyze, evaluate the knowledge, and after the class the teacher gives them some project, some cases, and they can uh, reach up to the creating stage. So flipped classroom as such is not watching only online videos. It is not just reading the learning material. It is not about replacing teacher. Let me tell you, this mode cannot replace the teacher. Teacher has to be there to clarify students doubts in the classroom. Okay, I'll say that you have developed the material, you have given to them, now they are studying at home, but they require certain clarification. Flipped classroom is not an online class. It is not where students are working without structure. Even for this mode, the teacher has to prepare a plan. It is not where students working in isolation. Of course, they are studying the material at home. They are isolated. But since this is a hybrid approach, students come to the class and teacher gives them clarification. It is not students spending the entire class online. It is a means to increase teacher contact time. Now the teacher is available to solve their to clarify their doubts, to supplement. He is not to deliver the lecture. Let me tell you, many times in a traditional mode, the teacher is giving dictation to the students from his own notes. It is an environment that increases student responsibility. You are making them responsible for their own learning. It is blending of direct instruction and constructivist learning. They are constructing the knowledge themselves. It is a class where all students are engaged. It is a class where even absent students won't fall behind because material is with them. If in case one student is absent today, in a traditional class, the teacher has given the lecture, he has missed it, but the content is available with him. And it is a class where all students are engaged in their learning. So shift the paradigm from teacher centered to student centered. Now advantages of flipped classroom over, you see, traditional method, traditional lecture method. Firstly, uh, flipped classroom model teaches students to take responsibility. अभी आपको मैंने बोला, for their own learning. So secondly, the flipped model creates a way to easily personalize and differentiate the classroom, because this mode allows the instruction to be asynchronous. So differentiation for each student becomes possible. The pace of class is appropriate for each student, and this personalizes the learning for each student. It makes learning the center of the classroom. Students come to the class with preparation, and the teachers provide them some material to learn. It gives students immediate feedback and reduces teacher paperwork, because every material is having inbuilt practice task question followed by feedback, and it provides opportunity for remedial remediation. So teacher is there in the classroom to supplement with more examples, and allows for multiple means of learning the content: textbooks, videos, other web resources, and it provides multiple chances for demonstrating the understanding by students through verbal discussion, through demonstration, summative unit exams, and it has changed the role of the teacher. You see, in a traditional classroom, the teacher stands stationary in front of the class, pours the information, and becomes the center of attention. Now, here, teacher spends the time doing what is most important: helping students, leading small groups, working with those students who are struggling. Okay, so it has really changed the role of the teacher. It ensures that all students are involved, and it makes hands-on activities more personal. Now, benefits of a flipped classroom to students: they can learn at their own speed, they are provided opportunities for review, materials with them, materials are ready, prepared for absentees also. Students take ownership of their learning because they are studying at home. They actively work with their classmates in the classroom to solve problem, and another benefit is that they need not struggle with completing homework at home, and that too alone. So they are doing in group. Now it has also various benefits to the teachers. Focus is on being guide on the side rather than on sage on the stage. The teacher can spend more time for supplementing with practice. They will spend less time managing student classroom behavior, and even one teacher can collaborate with another teacher in developing the content or developing the video. So through this, the teacher can connect very well with the students and involved with student learning rather than lecture. As I said, the flipped model has changed the role of the teacher. So in order to function as an effective teacher in the flipped mastery model, a few characteristics are necessary. Firstly, the teacher should be a content master. A teacher who is not proficient in his content cannot operate in this model. He must possess the ability to move mentally, to mentally move from one topic to another. This is very much essential, and a comprehensive understanding of the interconnectedness of the content is also essential. Only then he can participate, because he is not to deliver the lecture, he is to solve the answer the questions, or clarifies the students' doubts, and the teacher also must be able to admit, because in a this mode, lot of questions will come to the teacher. Sometimes the teacher doesn't have the answer. Now he has to admit honestly that right now I don't know its answer. But you can manage it other way also. Suppose one question comes to you for which you don't have the answer. You can redirect that question to the students. Can any one of you answer this question? Now that will take about one and a half minute. In the process, you are recollecting, or maybe some student tries to give the answer, you get some hint. Otherwise, you can say, okay, good question, you study at home, I'll study at home, tomorrow we'll take up this question. So next day, your first activity is to answer that question. The teacher must be able to flow through a class period in a non-linear fashion. That is, the role of the teacher is to meet each student where she or he is, because the this model hinges entirely on the teacher meeting the student at the point of need, not the student meeting the teacher at the prescribed place. The teacher must be able to give up control of the learning process to the students. They are making them responsible, and the teacher's role is of a supportive coach. The teacher is here to encourage the student. He Because the students need a coach who can come alongside them and guide them in the discovery of knowledge. So flipped classroom method has helped the teacher doing what is most important, that is helping students, leading small groups, and working with individuals who are struggling. Now let me share with you the findings of a very useful research study. uh, Chen, Louis, and Martinelli, they have examined 46 articles on the effectiveness of flipped classroom in medical education with different learning outcomes. And they have given their findings in terms of the effect of flipped classroom, perceptions of students about the flipped classroom, the change in attitudes after using the flipped classroom, and knowledge, skills, and behavior changes with the flipped classroom curriculum. In regard to effect of flipped classroom, the review has suggested inconsistent findings, with some research studies suggesting benefits while others reporting negligible improvement over traditional teaching method. But in any case, majority of studies, if you look at the literature, they have reported that students exposed to flipped classroom obtain higher scores as compared to students who are taught by mere chalk and talk method. In regard to perceptions of flipped classroom, students were generally satisfied with this approach, particularly the usefulness of the material which is available online because of easy access to these resources for self-paced learning. As I said, the material the student can read again and again. The video he can watch again and again. This is a very good benefit to the students. Now, positive changes were reported in this review study. Studies have suggested that medical students, because this study was conducted on medical education, in medical education, so they reported increased enjoyment, decreased boredom, and greater task value in flipped classroom. Now, in regard to knowledge, skills, and behavior changes, the survey has presented mixed results regarding student changes in knowledge. Some studies found positive results while others suggesting no differences. So there is need to you see go through various other research studies, and in the literature I have found more research studies using the flipped classroom to enhance English as foreign language, examining flipped learning in sociology courses, the flipped classroom and mind mapping in teaching basic sciences, investigating the potential of the flipped classroom model in K-12 mathematics teaching learning, flipped classroom in organic chemistry, effect of a flipped classroom model in an introductory college mathematics course, action research study from implementing the flipped classroom model, impact of flipped teaching on students' performance. Now, action research. You can conduct a small piece of action research. What you can do is identify, say, 4 topics. You will not be teaching them. What you can do is you will develop the self-learning material and also record few videos, divide the class into 2 subgroups. Say you have 40 students in the classroom. You can classify the strength into 2 subgroups randomly. Now, to one group, you are teaching those 4 topics using lecture mode, and to the other group, you are not giving any lecture. You have given them the learning material and video. They are required to study at home. In the classroom, they will participate actively. Teacher will supplement. Teacher will give them homework in the classroom and also develop a small quiz on those 4 topics. So that quiz can be administered to both the groups before the start of the experiment. After conducting the experiment, same quiz can be given to both the groups as a post test. Now you have the results of both the groups, pre-test, post-test, and pre-test, post-test, and now compute the results, compute the data with the help of statistics. You can find yourself which group obtained higher scores. So goals of the classroom flip model is to find an approach that would make it possible for the faculty to move from sage on the stage to guide on the side of the students, and reduce the amount of time spent in classroom on lecturing, opening up class time for use of learning, active learning strategies, focus more on understanding and application rather than on remembering part, providing students with more control over their own learning in the form of self pacing, giving students greater sense of their own responsibility, and providing more opportunities to learn from their peers, that is engage them in small group activities. So move lecture material out of the class through online delivery. This is then move homework into the class where the teacher can serve as guide. Now use open up time for discussion and practice, and then extend conversation outside the class through threaded discussion. So this is flipped classroom. Now, let me share with you the steps involved in the implementation of flipped classroom as for traditional teaching. For this flipped mode also, you have to specify learning outcomes and also prepare a plan. As I said, it is also a structured teaching. Planning is required. Then develop e-content or record videos and assure that students have access to videos and e-content, and incorporate you see engaging learning activities. Create multiple versions of each summative assessment for students to demonstrate their mastery. And other strategies can also be used in class activities like, say, active learning. You can allow your students to apply concept in class, where they can ask their classmates or the teacher for feedback, for clarification. So active learning. Peer instruction. One student can teach another student by explaining concept or working on small problem. This can be done in the classroom, this activity. Collaborative learning activities can also be used, which could increase the student engagement, enhance their understanding, and promote collective intelligence. Problem based learning. Class time can be spent working on problems. Okay. And you can also hold discussions or debates. So give students the opportunity to articulate their thoughts on the spot, or to develop their arguments in support of their opinions or claims. So as I said that the important requirement for implementing flipped classroom is to develop e-content, and that should be on the lines of self learning. So self learning material is a method of providing individualized instruction in which each student is active, proceeds at his or her own pace, and is provided with immediate knowledge of result. You see, the content is broken down into small chunks. The content is written in an interactive language. Student can read the material at his or her own pace. Then there are inbuilt questions. He has to answer, every student has to answer those questions, and every question is followed by a feedback. On getting satisfactory responses, the student is required to proceed to the next chunk. Okay. So it also includes the web resources, other material including YouTube videos, etc. So self-learning material, you will find that it has got five major characteristics. Firstly, self-explanatory. It means that the self-learning material is developed in such a manner that does not require any intermediary, that is the teacher, to explain the content, because student is required to study at home. The content is written in simple language, interactive language. Interactive language क्या होती है? The language the teacher uses in the classroom must be used while preparing the content. Now when the student reads the material, he thinks that the teacher is talking to him and not simply he is reading out the bookish knowledge, bookish content. So content is broken down into small chunks in a logical and integrated manner. So basically, a teacher is built in into the text. Uh, it must include examples, cases, illustrations, so that the learner can understand the content without external support, because teacher is not there at home. Self contained, it means that learners studying through this material normally do not require additional material to learn the content. This is highly important for the learner who is sitting at home, because he is isolated, he is dispersed. They may not have access to book at home. So everything must be included. If you want your students to watch a video, it must include the video, or you have given the YouTube link of that particular video to the student. They can download and they can read it, they can watch it. Self directed, self instructional, self motivating. Good examples: attention gaining techniques. Change, you can you see, vary the font size, font type, font color to attract the attention of the students. You can use number of illustrations to motivate them, integrate with video. And self evaluating, that is questions for practice followed by feedback. I'll show you one specimen of self learning material. Suppose the topic is systematic approach to instruction design. At the top, you have to write your name, designation, and the name of the institute. Now, coming to the two types of broad objective and learning outcome. After reading the learning material, you will be able to, because the student is reading the material, understand the concept, know the various steps, elucidate the role of the teacher. After reading the learning material, you will be able to, these are the learning outcomes. Okay. Now then, it will be followed by prerequisite knowledge. That is, what are the prerequisites for understanding this topic? So you have to write, then you have to give the introduction. This is interactive language. Dear learners, as you know that earlier instructional plans have been made largely by intuition. Okay, I'll teach up to here. Oh no, I must include this point also. So you see, this is the introduction given here. Then you will say the learning material will enable the learner apply the systematic approach to design. Then subtopic 1, you have broken down the content into one, 2 or 3 subtopics. First of all, system approach. Let us list parts of car, parts of computer, illustrations, diagrams, main heading in a block or rectangle. Just see, this is interactive language, not the textbook wording. Now, after the first input is over, there are practice task questions. Here you can give them open-ended question, but in case of computer is assisted instruction, you can only provide them the multiple choice questions. Now the feedback, that is self-evaluation to practice task. Okay, you are excellent. Now you may learn the next input as follows. The next input is there. Once this second input is mastered, then he can move to the third input. Practice task, feedback. Now third unit of the same topic, practice task, feedback. Now references and bibliography you have to give. Support learning resources, say video film. So there are about 8 video films for this topic, each of 7 to 8 minutes are also appended. Then other web resources, you have to provide them the links of those. Now I'll give you one specimen of computer assisted instruction. Let me tell you that I have also conducted one number of experiments where the student, one group was given CI packages and the other group is given the e-content. And in all those experiments, students who have used computer assisted instruction obtained higher score than the students who were given the e-content, simply e-content. अब मैं आपको उसका भी एक स्पेसिमेन दे रहा हूं. It is audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Welcome, dear learners, to massive open online course on self-learning material development. Dear learners, you have already understood the process of design and development of computer-assisted self-instructional material. In this video, you will have a feel of computer-assisted self-instructional material. Let us take an example of uniform and non-uniform velocity from the subject of physics. And the beauty of this CAI package is that it is developed using only PowerPoint presentation. And here we have locked the mouse and we have also locked the keyboard. We have created buttons. Unless the learner presses a particular button, the next screen will appear. So uniform and non-uniform velocity. Now let us start with. So as already informed you that the first screen will display the instructional objectives. That is, at the end of the session, you will be able to. So there are two types of objective written. One is the broad objective and second is the learning outcomes. So understand the concept of average speed, no uniform and no non-uniform velocity, understand the concept of acceleration, and learning outcomes are calculate the average speed of a body, identify from the given example whether an object is accelerated, and state the SI units of acceleration. Now in this screen, you will have three buttons: home, previous, and next. Now we'll move to next. Now in this slide, we want to test the prerequisites possessed by the learner. So some questions are given. For example, if your car is moving at a speed of 60 km per hour in first 2 hours and 72 km per hour for next 2 hours, it means your car is moving with. Now there are 4 options and the student will select one of these 4 options. Let us say the option is B, non-uniform speed. Now the feedback is presented to the student. It is stated, well, your answer is correct. Now his answer is being reinforced and the reasoning is also given why he has chosen the right answer. Now you can move to the next question. Next question, SI unit of velocity are meter per second, centimeter per second, kilometer, and meter per second square. Let us take answer A as the correct answer. So your answer is correct. Again, the student is being reinforced and the reasoning is also given. Now he has to move to the next question. Now you have to move to the next question. Velocity is a vector quantity because it is determined by, again, there are 4 options. So let us see both magnitude and direction. C option is correct. Now click here and you will find the feedback. Now this man is walking with a velocity of 2 km per hour in west direction, it means it contains both the magnitude as well as the direction. Now next, now the input is given, and already you have studied that the matter is divided into small inputs, and the language is quite simple and interactive. Now let us read it. On her way to Agra, Anjali travels by her car, which is moving at a speed of 50 km per hour for first hour and 60 km per hour for next hour. What is average speed of car? Well, average speed, this is new term for you. Now you will study about average speed. The question which comes in mind is it necessary that an object covers equal distances in equal intervals of time? No, it is not possible. An object cannot cover equal distance in equal intervals of time. For example, while traveling in a car, it is not possible to keep car at a constant speed. So it is better to express speed in terms of average speed. So you see that the matter is presented in interactive tone. Now we move to next screen. When we travel in a vehicle, the speed of vehicle changes from time to time depending upon the conditions existing on the road. So in such a situation, the speed is calculated by the ratio of the total distance traveled by the vehicle to the total time taken for the journey. And this is called as the average speed. Now you will notice that the main idea is presented in different font color, font type you can use differently. So there is one animation. Now next, if an object covers a distance s1 in time t1, distance s2 in time t2, and distance sn in time tn, then the average speed is given by this formula. So again, the main idea is given in a rectangle, and it is given in bold letters, different font color, font type. So thus, when we say that the car travels at an average speed of 60 km per hour, it doesn't mean that the car would be moving with the speed of 60 km per hour throughout the journey. Now, next screen, there is one inbuilt practice task question. A car travels 100 km at a speed of 50 km per hour and returns with a speed of 40 km per hour. What is the average speed of whole journey? Now, the student can take his own time and he can calculate. Say the answer is C, 44.4 km per hour. So again, his answer is being reinforced. See, calculation is also given, and now he will move to the next screen. You can take an example of a car. As in the case of uniform speed, car will have uniform velocity if it covers equal distance in equal intervals of time, no matter how small these time intervals may be, but in a specified direction in a straight line. So in this example, car will be having uniform velocity only if it travels 30 km per hour in same direction. Now you can move to the next once you have read this material. But what will happen if car changes its direction? Yes, change in direction will lead to a change in the velocity of the car. So velocity of car will not remain uniform as given in the definition. So let us think over how can we change velocity of a body. There are two ways. One is you change the speed of the body or change the direction of the body by keeping speed constant. Next, now you can take an example. Two athletes, Ram and Sham, are running with a uniform speed of 5 meters per second. Ram is running on a straight track. Now this animation is here. Sham moves on a circular track. For a layman, both Ram and Sham are moving with uniform velocity, but for a physicist only. Of course, Ram is running with uniform velocity because there is no change in his speed and direction of motion. Whereas in case of Shyam, who is running along a circular track, the direction of motion is changing at every instant as circle is polygon with infinite sides and Shyam has to change his direction at every instant. So now he can move to the next slide, or if he wants to study the previous slide, he can click the previous button. Okay, now let us move to next. So you can now define these terms. A body is said to be moving with uniform velocity if it covers equal distances in equal intervals of time in a specified direction. So a body is said to be moving with variable velocity if it covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time and vice versa in a specified direction, or if it changes the direction of the motion. Now, next slide. Let us take an example. Car is moving on a road. What about its velocity? Will it be uniform or not? Answer to this problem is velocity of car is not uniform, because even if the speed of car is constant, the car is changing its direction continually. This is the case of changing velocity, that is velocity is variable or non-uniform velocity. Next slide. Now you can check your understanding. A bus is moving on hilly road with speed of 20 km per hour. It means bus is moving with non-uniform velocity. So you are correct. So again, the feedback is given. Next slide. This problem has given rise to the new concept in the field of motion, and that is acceleration. So what is acceleration? Let us take an example of a car. It starts from rest, that is its initial velocity is 0. At 0 second, v is 0. After 5 second, v is 10 meter per second. After 10 second, it is 20 meter per second. In this situation, car is changing its velocity by 10 meter per second after every 5 second. Now next, car is accelerating. So again, there is some animation. The data is given. In above example, car changes its velocity after every 5 seconds. If the velocity of the car increases, the body is said to be accelerating. Now you can define the concept of acceleration. Now the formula is given in a rectangle and a different font color, different font type. Next. Now you can try to answer this. So again, there is one question given here. Now you can move to next slide. Try to find answer to this problem. Say a car starting from rest acquires a velocity of 36 km per hour in 5 seconds. Its acceleration is. So using that formula given in the previous slide, you can find out the answer. Say answer is B. So your answer is correct. Again, feedback is given. So next slide. Well, the term acceleration need not always mean that the velocity of a moving body is always increasing. It can also decrease, remain the same, or become zero. Now, one example is given here. So train starts from rest and gains a speed of 100 meter per second. That is, it accelerates after some time. Now, this illustration is given here, and the relevant content is also given. Now, magnitude and direction of acceleration changes with changing velocity of a body. So here again illustration is given, and you can take some of the illustrations from the website. Now, end session test, that average speed is equal to, so say answer is D. So your answer is correct. Okay, your answer is being reinforced. A body moving with a constant speed of 20 meter per second and following a zigzag path has, say, non-uniform velocity. Say answer is B. Your answer is correct. So next, the SI unit of acceleration is, say, meter per second square. Say you have chosen B as the right answer. So it will say that your answer is not correct, because acceleration is this, unit of acceleration is this. So your answer is not being reinforced. Now next. So at the end, the whole chapter is summarized. So the main points are highlighted in the simple language, and at the end, thank you very much. So it means you can either go to the previous slide or you can go to the home page. So home page was this, uniform and non-uniform velocity. So dear learners, in this video, you had a feel of computer assisted self-instructional material, and you can develop self-instructional material using PowerPoint presentation mode, and you need not require the knowledge of other difficult software. Thank you very much.
So, friends, in this particular session, uh, we have learned about the reasons why lecture mode of imparting instruction is not, you see, appropriate for various reasons, and we need to employ flipped classroom. And we have studied also the features of flipped classroom model, as well as the steps involved in the conduct of flipped classroom, what are the benefits to the students, what are the benefits to the teachers, and for the flipped classroom, all of us need to employ or incorporate the self-learning material or video lessons. So I have also shown you the sample of self-learning material, both the PDF as well as the CI package. Now the session is open for discussion. You are welcome. Kindly conduct small experiment. Start with 2 or 3 topics. Prepare self-learning material in the form of, or you can prepare computer-assisted instruction using PowerPoint mode only. You need not learn about the tool book or authorware as a software, because those are very complicated software. So you can use only the PowerPoint.
Yes, from GPC Kota, Kavita ma'am.
जी मैम sir I want ask some question. If we have a numerical problem, then it is a very tough to use a flip technique, as
Yeah.
if we
What is the
give the
problem?
problem to the student.
Numerical problem, sir.
You can also use flip classroom also for solving the numerical problem.
Yes ma'am. If we have numerical problem, how can we given the problem to the student and expect them to solve it by itself
You
itself?
see, first of all, the content part you have to deliver to the student in advance. Now, when they come to the class, the problem solving can be carried out there only.
Yeah, okay.
Huh.
It means as we use traditionally, it is the same process.
Same process, but the lecture, that is the notes which you are dictating to the students in the classroom, you need not give the dictation. The notes can be given to the students in advance, but not the notes. The material written in self-learning mode, you have to provide.
Okay, sir. जी,
जैसा
thank you,
मैंने
sir.
आपको वीडियो भी दिखाई है ना अभी
Yes, yes,
CI
sir.
पैकेज, वैसा भी बना सकते हो आप.
Oh, okay, sir. जी, thank you, sir.
मैं आपको एक अभी जस्ट एक आधे मिनट में मैथमेटिक्स का भी आपको दिखाता हूँ. जस्ट वेट.
Sir, one more question from our participant.
हाँ जी.
Good afternoon, sir.
आफ्टरनून.
Basically, sir, the lecture from your side is very effective, but we have a problem, sir, that in case of polytechnic colleges that where the entry level is 10th class, at this level, the implementation of flip teaching is much more tough, sir, I think so. So can you provide any solution?
नो, कोई टफ नहीं है जी. आपको मैं अभी दिखा रहा हूँ.
Because, sir, if we provide the notes to the students, they shall not be able to understand the notes, sir.
जस्ट सी, ये मैथमेटिक्स का है. ट्रिग्नोमेट्रिक रेशियोज एंड आइडेंटिटीज.
Sir, basic issue is the entry level, sir. If the entry level would be 12th class, in that case, the students may learn something by themselves. But in
सर,
case of, and when the entry level is 10th class in the polytechnics, it's very tough.
नहीं सर, आप समझे नहीं. यू सी, यू आर गिविंग डिक्टेशन टू द स्टूडेंट. दैट डिक्टेशन पार्ट इज गिवन इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सेल्फ लर्निंग मटेरियल. अभी आप ये देखिए एक बारी से. आंसर ये है. योर आंसर इज रॉन्ग. मैं एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं. जस्ट सी.
Yeah.
ये लैंग्वेज आपने यूज करनी है. स्टूडेंट, एज वी नो, देयर आर मेनी ऑब्जेक्ट्स व्हिच आर इनएक्सेसिबल टू अस हाइट वाइज. For example, like the top of the tree, top of the pole, mountain peaks, an aeroplane flying at some height, also some objects which are inaccessible. So right angle triangle. So trigonometry is generally used in solving problems. Then next, अब देखिए यहाँ पर ये आप क्लास में भी तो यही बोलते हो ना. आप यही बोलते हो, ये डिक्टेशन देते हो. डिक्टेशन पार्ट नहीं देना आपने. क्लासरूम में वो प्रॉब्लम्स करेंगे. ये देखिए, ये बटन आपने क्रिएट किए. ये बटन भी आप गूगल से ले लेंगे. ये देखिए.
Yeah.
Any student will read at his or her own pace.
Now it is visible, sir, please.
हाँ, तो ये अपनी पेस से आगे बढ़ेगा.
जी.
यही तो नोट्स हम क्लास में देते हैं.
Yeah.
हाँ, ये देखो सोल्यूशन मैंने किया, पुट दीज वैल्यूज इन ए, वी गेट दिस, ये
Right, sir.
टीचर क्लासरूम में बोर्ड पे लिखता है ना।
Right.
Just see side AB is called as perpendicular, side CB is called the base of the triangle, side AC is called the hypotenuse. ये सारा चीज तो आपने दे दिया। अब
Right, sir.
क्लासरूम में जब बच्चे आएंगे, they will solve the actual problems. आपको सिर्फ एक बार ये बनाना है मटेरियल।
जी. But sir, in this case, the class will be only for the assignment.
Yes sir. You see, traditional method में क्या होता है? We teach the content in the classroom and we give
Yeah.
them homework.
Yeah.
Now homework will be carried out in the classroom.
Sir, in the advanced technology, one problem is there that on the chat GPT, all the assignments are available, solutions are available, sir, on the chat GPT.
हाँ.
In that case, student will not solve the problem themselves.
Sir, in the
They believe
classroom,
the chat GPT or another.
because you see, in the classroom,
resource is
you are,
available.
sir, in the classroom, you are present. They will
Yeah.
not be able to use chat GPT.
Okay, okay.
Because problem solving will be carried out. You see, flipped classroom, आप थोड़ा सा समझिए. Whatever you see, traditional, what is traditional teaching? Content in class and
Content.
homework at home. Now
Homework.
it is reverse. That is,
reverse.
the lecture you will deliver them in the to the student in advance, either in their WhatsApp, or you
Yeah.
can upload that content on the website of your institute. They can
Yeah.
download, they can study, and they will come to the classroom for clarification आप देंगे, या आप उनको सप्लीमेंट करेंगे एग्जाम्पल के साथ, और फिर जो है न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व करेंगे, यानी होमवर्क क्लास में होगा।
It is just reversible system of the traditional
Yes
teaching,
sir,
sir.
yes sir, yes sir.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.